Hello, class of 2025. My name is Mr. Dunn, and I am the Director of Community Engagement at Francis Parker School. Today, I'd like to share with you the expectations for a member of the class of 2025 when it comes to community engagement. So here you'll see the cover page of what is the community engagement portfolio. And this portfolio will guide you as you formulate your plan of how you will engage the community and be reflective about what you are doing. You can see that we use the think, act, reflect approach in all that we do regarding community engagement. And we also use the IPARD learning approach to learn more about challenges affecting our society. So let's take a peek at what you're going to be expected to do. You have already received a copy of this portfolio, hopefully, and you've been forced to make a copy of it. Where it says last name and first name, I would like you to type in your last and first name. And then as you go to the second page, you'll see some of the basic information about the community engagement program. In short, we've done away with the idea that you must complete mandatory hours as a ninth grader. We used to require all ninth graders to complete 20 hours of community engagement work, but we have found that this approach wasn't necessarily having the impact we intended it to have. So we're asking you to use the think, act, reflect approach to learn more about some social or environmental challenges throughout the school year. And then you are going to use the IPARD learning cycle to share what you have learned and to reflect on some of the lessons that you have taken away. So this year, what we're asking you to do is we're asking all ninth graders to volunteer at 3 nonprofit organizations. You get to choose the ones you work with, but you're supposed to do some work at one of the nonprofit organizations on the approved agency list. The approved agency list is a part of the portfolio, and you can find it throughout the portfolio, but it looks a little bit like this. It gives you lots and lots of ideas of how you can assist either children or families or people with special needs or other abilities, the sick, and so forth. I want you to pick 3 different areas, and I want you to pick 3 different nonprofits. After you have chosen 3 different nonprofits to work with, you're going to do a little reflection on that. There is no specific amount of time that you must spend at these nonprofits, but it's generally expected that 3 or 5 hours probably will help you understand, but I don't want to specify amount of time necessarily. During your 10th and 11th grade year, you'll dig deeper into one of these topics and you'll dedicate all your work to that specific topic. But 9th grade, it's all about variety. So you've been asked to create a Google Drive folder and to use the naming convention at the bottom to start documenting evidence of your work. So how do you create a Google Drive folder? Well, once you have your Francis Parker account, or if you have it already, you simply go into the new tab. You go into folder, and you're going to name it as the naming convention says, Community Engagement 25, that's your class, your last name, your first name. That's how John Doe would create his folder. And then inside that folder, you're going to put your copy of this portfolio, and you'll name it with the naming convention at the bottom. So you'll name it Community Engagement Portfolio, your last name, your first name. And please don't use hyphens for any of this. So back to the portfolio. You probably understand basically what we're asking you to do. Go out and engage with 3 different nonprofits, okay? But we're not just going to engage with these nonprofits. We're going to think about how we can have an impact on ourselves and possibly even on others. So the phases, you'll have a mentor to help you choose what nonprofits and issues you care about. This will be a 12th grader that's in the social justice class or as part of the National Honor Society. They'll guide you and they'll help you go out and find a place that you can do direct outreach or indirect service or advocacy, or a combination of all these things during trimester 2. Now, if you've received this portfolio before you've come to school and you're eager to get started, go for it. You could complete all parts of this portfolio before you even begin the school year. Moving on, you'll see that we're going to do some reflection, and then we're going to demonstrate what we've learned through advisory. All of this is going to take place through our advisories, which meets every single week with your advisor. You can't share this with your advisor necessarily yet if you don't know who your advisor is, by the way, but you can share it with me, Dunn at francisparker.org. Students gave a lot of feedback in the creation of this portfolio. They added some pictures, all right? And they've also asked that this be easy to follow. So you'll see a lot of questions throughout the portfolio to guide you and to get you thinking. All right, these are the think questions. All right. Your advisor will, or excuse me, your mentor and your advisor will help you start considering where you might go if you want to wait till when the school year starts. Now, if you can do this by yourself at home before the school year starts, feel free to. Okay. After you think about what issues interest you, you're going to investigate a few of those nonprofits, right? And think about how they provide direct services and indirect or long-lasting public policy initiatives. You're going to think about maybe some myths associated with the issue, all right? For example, if you're interested in helping those that are affected by poverty, some people might have a myth that people are homeless, for example, because they're lazy. And then you're going to share the fact behind that, why people become unsheltered and who these unsheltered people are, which many of them are successful doctors and professors, for example. After you've done a little investigating and some planning, follow the tab down and you'll be getting into more of the action phase where you go out and do. And you'll share and maybe document and try to take some pictures of you doing your work. You don't have to get a community engagement form signed anymore. That awkward exchange at the end of your experience isn't necessary, but maybe take some pictures following all the guidelines in here that you think will demonstrate that you went out and did good. There's space for the photos in the video, and then there's also going to be a time to reflect. And you'll reflect on other things that we value at Parker, like how this connects to diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging work, all right? And how it ties into social justice, which you'll learn a little bit more by reading a parable. All these things and all these experiences, there will be time during advisory for you to work on this, all right? At the end, you'll share some data and you'll share your experience in any number of ways. You don't have to give a presentation during your advisory during trimester 3, but you may choose to. You may choose to celebrate your work in another way. That's going to be up for you and your advisor to determine. So this is just the beginning. There's going to be more information shared throughout the year, but I hope this helps you start to think about, what am I going to do this year to stay engaged? And welcome to the upper school. Thank you.